This is the exact system that I use in my gym and online to help take CrossFitters from novice to RX. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the sheer volume of things that there is to learn in CrossFit? Every day you come in, the workout is different, and it feels like you're scaling back just to kind of make it through instead of actually making progress forward. The truth is that CrossFit is complicated. But if you can understand the simple system that I teach in this video, then you can make progress across all movements continuously. My name's Monroe, and I've spent the past 15 years training, running a gym, and coaching people all over the world on how to get better at CrossFit. In this video, I'll explain the 3 pieces of the system and how to know exactly what to do on every single workout that you approach to get the best result. You can continue to go in and just do the workout of the day, but if you really want to actually make progress with all this stuff, you're going to have to pay attention not just to what you're doing in the gym, but also what you're doing outside of the gym. What got you to where you are today isn't what will get you to the next level with your fitness. If you need more help and personal coaching from me, check out Technique Team. It's the top link in the description. All right, so there's 3 pieces to this system, and you're going to need to use all 3 in order to go from novice to RX. The 3 pieces are scaling, training, and weakness work. You can think about these 3 pieces like you're practicing music. Training is just picking up your instrument and committing the time it takes to learn how to play it. Scaling is like slowing down the tempo of the song so that you can be sure that you're hitting the notes correctly. And weakness work is like doing scales or doing rhythm drills. They're things that aren't playing the song but will help you get better at your instrument. And you need to do all 3 to really play music. So let's look at training first, because that is going to be your baseline. Until you've reached the RX level, you can't really do the training in the same way. You always have to modify it in some way to preserve the stimulus, if you've heard that before. But what does that even mean? So let's say you had this workout that's 5 rounds, 20 or 16 calorie row, 40 double unders, 6 clean and jerks at 135 pounds for the guys and 95 for the ladies. The intended stimulus of this workout would be somewhere in the 10 to 12 minute range. If it takes you 20 minutes to do this, then it's not appropriate for you because that is not the intended stimulus. If it's supposed to feel heavy, you're supposed to get that stimulus. If it's supposed to be grippy, that's the stimulus you're supposed to get. If it's supposed to make you completely gassed and out of breath, that is the stimulus that you should be getting. And if you're not, then you're doing the workout wrong. The problem with a workout like, say, Amanda, is that if you don't have a pull-up yet and you can't snatch at least maybe 185, then the workout is not going to be the same stimulus as if you can do the rings in 1 or 2 sets and you can do singles quickly on the barbell. If every day you feel like is a race or there's never any high skill or heavy weights program, then you're going to struggle to get better at CrossFit. You need to have a variance in the stimulus throughout the week. CrossFit is and should be constantly varied, high-intensity, functional movements. The goal is increase work capacity across broad time and modal domains. Now, CrossFit is deep, but if you want to get better at CrossFit, you need to be consistent with doing your CrossFit training. If you are on a 3 times a week membership or you're on a punch card at your gym and you're watching this video trying to get better at CrossFit, just go upgrade your membership to unlimited. If you are trying to get better at something, the more often that you are doing the thing, the quicker it will happen. You need to be doing whatever it is you want to improve at more frequently during the week than you are not doing it. And that goes for anything. Instruments, finance, relationships, art, anything. If you're working out 3 days and you're resting 4 days, then you're resting more than you're training. So if you just flip that and start training more than you're resting, you will start to see progress a lot faster. If you're not consistent and you're not just showing up to the gym and doing CrossFit workouts, you're going to struggle to really get better. So there's obviously going to be things that you come across when you are doing these CrossFit workouts that you cannot complete quite yet. And that's where scaling comes into play. So the first thing you need to understand about scaling is that scaling is a regression. I do not look at scaling like it is a progression for the movement. It's helping you get through it, not helping you get better at it. And in the beginning, this is what you need to do in order to make progress. You need to scale back the movements because it needs to be something where you can preserve that intended stimulus. So I made this flow chart to help you reason with how to make some decisions about scaling based on the workout. Basically, we're looking to do at least 1 rep of each movement. So if you can't do it, then you need to scale to a lower tier movement. I created a table of positions and patterns so you can see which movements are less skill or less complex, and you can always use those movements instead if you're able to complete them. So if you can do 1 rep of that movement, then we go back, right? So can you do the prescribed load? Yes, awesome. If not, then you're going to scale to a challenging but manageable weight. And this is a theme for me in my coaching, is that you need to do weights that are challenging but manageable. You need to tiptoe that line of where you are moving really well and really fast. So for most people, I would say maybe like 70 to 80%, it should just be a weight that you can stay moving with. And again, it kind of depends on what the workout is. So can you keep moving with the weights and the movements for the whole workout? If not, then you need to determine whether it's safe, okay? If it's not safe, then you need to scale the weight more or change the movement, right? If it's not safe for you to do an overhead squat because your position is so poor, maybe switch to a goblet squat, and don't just do that high intensity with the movement that you really struggle at. Peel that movement back, develop it outside of the workout or in your free time, and then scale back the movement in the workout so that you can preserve that stimulus. If you still cannot keep moving with the weights, then you need to scale the number of reps, okay? If you can complete this workout with the weights and the movements, and you can complete it under the time cap, then you should go as RX. If you cannot complete it under the time cap, but the weights and the movements are fine for you, then you need to scale the volume, okay? So scale the number of reps. In general, we always scale the load first, then the volume, but we never scale the range of motion. I would rather you change the movement rather than scale the range of motion. If you don't have a pull-up and Fran is programmed, should you do banded pull-ups? Should you do ring rows? Should you do jumping pull-ups? Should you do negatives? It really depends. If the workout is short and for time, then you should scale to an easy movement that will allow you to keep moving through the reps, right? So maybe that is a jumping pull-up for Fran because it's supposed to be like a 3 to 5 minute workout. If we're getting up on a band and we're doing this like lower heart rate type of movement, it just kind of knocks down the intensity a little bit and you won't preserve that stimulus quite as well. If you have a longer AMRAP situation, there isn't as much urgency in each movement, and so that will give you the time to, slow things down and maybe work on a higher level progression towards the skill that you want. Just like CrossFit is constantly varied in the intended stimulus and the workouts, you should also be constantly varying the scales that you are using. We always want to try and get as close to the same patterns in the workout if possible. If the movement you're scaling is a pulling gymnastics movement, we want to try our best to do another pulling gymnastics movement. You can use my table of positions and patterns to help you determine which movements are higher and lower levels and which ones are related to each other. But again, you need to look at scaling as regression and not progression. You can and should be scaling these workouts to preserve the stimulus and keep you moving through the workout. But if you want to stop scaling and you want to make progress fast, you need to employ weakness work. Weakness work is the final piece of this system to help you get to RX, and this, I think, is the secret sauce. This is what helped me go from beginner, no experience in the gym, to RX in the first 6 months to a year of me being there. So what is weakness work? Weakness work is not an additional training session. All weakness work is 10 to 15 minutes, 3 to 5 times a week, before or after your class. And what you're going to do is spend time working on the movements that you need to develop in the proper order. Now, if you don't know the movement order that you should be developing these in, check out down in the description. There's an athlete assessment. You can take that. It'll tell you exactly where you're at and what you should be focusing on first. This could be working on your strict pull-up. This could be working on your double unders. This could be working on mobility to help you get into a better position. But you need to be training these movements outside of the workout. So if you are only ever practicing your double unders when you are in the middle of a Metcon and your brain is fried and your heart is jacked, then you're going to struggle to make a lot of progress and improve in the technical aspect of the movement. CrossFit is about being prepared for the unknown and the unknowable. It's about being a jack of all trades. It's not about being really good at what you're really good at. It's about developing a well-rounded fitness and not biasing in any one area. The best way to do that is to just be consistent in doing your normal training, scale where it's appropriate, and then add in weakness work to help bring up the weak areas of your game. I'm going to make this as simple as possible to understand. The more you do something, the better and stronger you get at it. Let's say that you struggle to sit in the bottom of the squat. It hurts your knees, your hips start to ache, and you really just can't even sit that deep. Let's assume that the average person spends about 2 minutes per week during their active lifetime in the bottom of the squat. That includes any stretching and all of the reps that you would do in your workout. And I think that is very generous. I think most people spend 0 time in the bottom of the squat. Let's assume that average lifespan is 80 years and your active life is like 40 years. That means that you spend a little more than 2 days out of the entire 29,000 days of your life in the bottom of the squat. If you want to compare that to something, that's like your life being the size of the earth and your time in the bottom of the squat being the size of a football field. Now, when we talk about a specific squat, like the overhead squat in the bottom of the snatch, how much time of your squats are you spending in the overhead squat? If we go back to the analogy of the earth and the football stadium, it's like the size of a stadium seat. And so in order for you to get better at some of these movements, if you just spend more time there, they will improve. You can add in the 5-minute squat to your nightly routine, and I promise in 2 weeks, you will see tremendous progress in all of your squatting movements. And it's simply because you're demanding that your body open up that position because of the amount of time you're spending there. If you can do that 3 times a week, then your snatch will significantly improve just because you're constantly cueing your body, hey, I need to get strong and mobile in this position. Another great thing you can focus on during weakness work is developing skills. The reason I like doing practice on skills like gymnastics or anything like that outside of the workout and before is because your brain is fresh and it requires a lot of attention and focus in order to change your movement patterns. Anything skill related, we're working with your brain. Double unders, for example. If you're trying to get your brain to do the right thing and move your body in the right way, but you are so fried from your workout, you're not going to be able to do the right thing. And usually you will start practicing poor movement patterns just because you're tired. So I think doing weakness work on skills is best done fresh prior to the workout. That way you can give it your full attention. Once you have a skill outside of the workout, then it's time to add some fatigue and add some intensity and try to replicate that same technique in the workout. If you add fatigue and the wheels fall off, then you know that you need to continue to add it into your weakness work every day. If you add it into your workout and things go great, then maybe you can focus on the next thing. If you need the form check, the coaching, and the accountability to help you get to the next level, check out Technique Team. It's the top link in the description. Now that you understand what to do and how to use this simple 3-step system to speedrun your progress from novice to RX, check out this next video where I show you how to implement this system into your training so that you don't get burned out.